So, hello everyone, welcome back. And in this video, we are going to talk about the interfaces. And in the previous video, remember we have talked about the data abstraction where we have written a public function, just hide the internal class members. So, also I have talked about the difference between the encapsulation and abstraction and about their sibling meanings so far. So in this video, we are going to conclude the object-oriented programming with the blueprints. So the final topic is the interfaces. So interfaces. So if you Google this thing, we have a lot of the different definition for the interfaces. But to understand this very easily, just remember a simple word. Interfaces are like contract. So that's all. It's very easy. So it's like the contract or it's like the bond. Okay. So let's say if you are trying to buy a land, okay, so the seller and the buyer will sign the agreement. Okay. So it means the seller is actually transferring all the ownership to the sorry, the buyer is actually transferring all the ownership to the seller, and seller is acquiring all the rights and ownership on the property. Okay, so this is the simple logic that lies behind the interfaces. So why the need of interfaces requires for the programming? As you see, okay, I will open our scene. So you're gonna see we have a lot of the different objects like let's say we have the shield, we have the potions, and if we have a lot of the things that is similar to this one that the player can able to interact, right? So for each and everything, we if we need to attack, if you need to just try to explore, or if you need to just need any functionalities, like if I gonna need to interact with the shield, you will gonna attach it to your backside, right? That's what we have done in in this series. And in the potion, it will just display based on the poison potion or health potion, the character life will get decreased or increased. So currently we are using the print string note to just demonstrate the concept of polymorphism. Okay, so interfaces will help us to give a relationship between all those objects in a single place that helps the character to interact with those interactable items in the game world. Okay, more than the words, I will just start some things now. So here you see in my content browser, I have downloaded the asset called wood or stuff. It is free in the fab. You can just download this, and this asset will look like this. Okay, all right. Okay, since this has the scaling issue as well, so you see my scaling is locked. So let's try 0.5. That is far better enough. All right. Okay, cool. Now talking about the interfaces, how to create the interface. So I'm going to create a new folder that is called interfaces. So in this folder, I'm going to create the interface like the blueprint class. Oh, I messed up, sorry. So if you're gonna right click and just type interfaces, what happens here? So gameplay. So right click here and in the content browser, now I'm going to create the interface. So just type blueprint interface. Yes, it's here. Okay, so the common syntax is BPI. So BPI means blueprint interface. Okay, so blueprint interface, I'm going to say those about interactables. Okay, so interactables, if I just open this window, as you're gonna see here, I can this looks like the normal actor blueprint, but you see some things are mentioned here. It's like the read only. Okay, so I can add some functionalities here. So I can just type it as interact. Okay, so I can just type it as interact, and this function need any input for now. I don't need any input or output. So I'm going for the content. Now you see these are the different kinds of assets, right? So in the inheritance for the base portion, first let's fix this. So in the event graph, I gotta say in the class settings now, since this was the abstract class, but still it can able to add an interface. So I'm going to click here, add under the class settings. Okay. So it's like BPI underscore interactables. Um, Generated. All right. So interact function. Now this function will get error. So I'm going to delete this one because you see we have already the function name called interact. Okay. So this function that we have written in this interface. Okay. I will show this one. See, this is the interface blueprint. Okay, so this function we have created here, interact, that is getting collated with the function that we have in the base portion. Okay, if you try to go for the class settings and try to add and implement an interface, as you can see here, now this function is actually both functions are getting collated. So this is not acceptable in the programming. Okay, so I'm going to delete the function in the main BP base portion blueprint. Now you see this interface function will get called. Okay, this interface function now will get called. So what happens when someone is trying to call this interact function? So I can give the base thing here, but it is like the print string. So that is like base class, sorry, base class implemented the interface. Okay, since this was the base portion, so base class implemented this interface. Maybe just increase the time limit to 12. Just close this up. Okay, so just close this up, and if I press 3, what should need, what we need? So in the third person blueprints, so if I press 3, this function will get called. So now let's talk about this. As you see, the portion is consumed and we have consumed the health portion and everything is working as before. Then what is the purpose of adding the interface? So this actually we have two child classes, right? So I'm going for the content. So in the poison portion, okay, we are currently interacting with the health portion. So in the health portion, as you can see, this function got inherited by the child class. Okay, you see the parent class is BP base portion, right? So in the portion, it's still the BP base portion. Okay, once again I will show here. You see the portion is consumed and health portion. Okay, in the health portion, now going for the interact function. Now what is getting happening is like I am just sharing can use. Okay, so consumed and health portion is consumed, so everything gets overrated. So this is the power of polymorphism. Okay, now we are fusing the polymorphism and the concept of interface. I think I don't mess this up, this concept. I guess you guys now understood your point. I will make a video demonstration in the paint at the end. Okay, so this is how the interface will work. So okay, one of the problems got solved. Now what? So now shield. Okay, now shield. I'm just opening the shield blueprint. We still didn't completed the purpose. Okay, so hold a minute. So in the BP shield class settings, so same here, I'm going to add the interface. I'm going to type the BPI interactables. Okay, as soon as I implemented this interface, as you can see in the left corner, there is an interact functionality. Okay, so if there is an interact functionality, then we can just say attach all the things like this here. We can able to attach the shield, those things, right? So we will talk about this. For now, I'm going to say print string. Okay, print string shield blueprint implemented the interface. Shield blueprint implemented the interface. Okay, so just change it as this color, maybe 12. That is good. All right. So instead of when I press the 3, this one is now getting called, right? So instead of this, I need to get the shield and I need to just make it up. So in the third person character, instead of potion, now I am going to call this as interact. Okay. So in the BP shield, if I select this function, you can't able to do anything. If I select this function inside the BP shield, now you see if I double click this, it is showing the event. But if I try to select this function, like if I select the construction, sorry, if I create a function like this, as you see, we have some things in the details panel that is respective to the function. But if I make a function here in the interact, now it is not actually, it can't be edited, it is actually public. So what should we need to do? So in the blueprints, now you see we are calling only the interactive part of this functionality. So what does it mean? So we need to use a node called does object implement a interface. So we're gonna say BPI interactable. Always this is the proper method. So you need to check whether the object has implemented the interface. If so, if you press the 3 key, if so, then you can just call the interact functionality, and remember it needs an target. Target means for which object you are trying to call the interact functionality, which belongs to the interface function. So if I just press it up here, this portion will get called, but it looks madness, so I'm going to plug it up this one. Okay, or else for just for differentiation stuff, I'm just doing this thing here. If I press the 3 key, as you can see in the top left, you can see the shield blueprint implement the interface. So this event is getting called. Okay, so that's why the print string node is getting printed. So if I just try to make the functionality like the instead of shield, if I try to get the base portion, okay, so if I try to get the base portion now, um okay, so that person character, this one I could say test object. Okay, you see it is not the shield, the same object. Okay, test object, and instead of shield I'm going to call the potion thing, and health potion is getting consumed. As you can see now, this is the power of the interface. So I have a separate place where I can stack up the function. Actually we are not stack up the function, we have the list of function that each and every class can use this, and it's like signing the agreement. That is like the character is actually signed the agreement. Like you can also go for the BP third person character, and you can just go for here and you can just add BPI interactable. Okay, BPI interactable. Now both sides can communicate with each other indirectly. So when you start making the real world code, this is actually a very important concept, and this is the must need to know concept as well. Okay, so this is how you can use the interfaces. Now you see I have some functionalities in one single place. Okay, this interface, and those classes like BP base portion, third person character, poison, if any classes implements this interface, then it needs to definitely need to answer what is meant by the interact. So based on the interactivity we have in the base portion have implemented this interface. So based on this, the interact function is getting called, but this won't get called because of the polymorphism. Very simple. So this is how, that's all about the interface. We have completed the object oriented concept, and only one more thing is pending, event dispatcher. When we start making the game mechanics, we will just get easily understand the purpose of the event dispatcher. Okay, so that's all for this video. We can catch up in the next video.